The AE86 generation of the Toyota Corolla Levin and Toyota Sprinter Trueno is a small, lightweight coupe or hatchback introduced by Toyota in 1983 as part of the fifth-generation Toyota Corolla lineup. For the purpose of brevity, the insider chassis code of AE86 depicts the 1600cc RWD model from the range. In classic Toyota code, the A represents the engine that came in the car, E represents the Corolla, 8 represents the fifth generation and 6 represents the variation within this generation. The Levin has fixed headlights, and the Trueno has retractable headlights, both could be hatchback or coupe. The export model name Corolla covers both variations. The AE86, AE85 and 1587 CCS5 versions, was rear-wheel drive, and is among the last rear-drive cars of its type, at a time when most passenger cars were being switched to front drive. In 1987, there was a limited edition model of the AE86 called Black Limited that served as a send-off model before the AE86 chassis was replaced later that year by the front-wheel drive AE92 Corolla Sprinter range. In Japan, the AE86 was also known as the Hachiroku, Japanese for 86. In Japan, the Sprinter Trueno was exclusive to Toyota Japan dealerships called Toyota Vista Store, while the Corolla Levin was exclusive to Toyota Corolla Store. The word Trueno is Spanish for thunder, and Levin is Old English for lightning. The AE86 later inspired the Toyota 86. Engine technical, the AE86 was available with a fuel-injected four-cylinder twin-cam 1587 cc4AGE engine in Japan and Europe, which was also used in the first-generation Toyota MR2. This engine had a maximum gross power output of 130 PS and 110 lb-ft of torque in standard form, though it was later downrated to 120 PS and 105 lb-ft in net output. The AE86 came with a 5-speed manual gearbox, and later came with the option of an automatic. The 4AGE engines used in the AE86 and AW11 were equipped with TVS. The AE86 had an optional LSD. In North America, a modified 4AGEC engine was used to comply with California emissions regulations. Power was rated at 112 bhp, and 96 lb-ft of torque. The AE86 used ventilated disc brakes. The car was equipped with a McPherson strut-style independent suspension at the front and a 4-link live axle with coil springs for the rear. Stabilizer bars were present at both ends. Higher spec AE86 models known as the GTS featured the DOHC 4AGE, 4-wheel disc brakes, color-matched bumpers, front lower bumper surround had a much more sporty and pronounced lip, door panels were molded, tachometer readline is around 7,500, wrapped steering wheel, seats had leather-wrapped tops, optional LSD, and aluminium wheels. Chassis code in the van is A88. Lower spec American AE86 SR5 models used the 1587 cc4ACSOHC unit. The SR5 rear end was a non-LSD with drum brakes. The SR5 model also had a softer suspension, and small styling and interior changes such as seats, gauge cluster, door panels, unpainted front and rear bumpers, and the lower part of the front bumper surround is shorter and flat, and its chassis code in the van differs as well, being A86 for the SR5 model. Models equipped with the 4AGE engine received a 6.7 inches rear differential, while 4AU and 4AC models received a smaller, weaker, 6.38 rear differential. The AE86 SR5 had an optional automatic transmission, though the GTS model only came with a standard 5-speed manual gearbox. One of the staff who was behind the car's engineering work was Nobaki Katayama, who would later head the company's motorsport department and who would become chief engineer of the Altezza project a decade later. An article in Car magazine in April 1999 stated he has a photo of an AE86 hung in his office. Body styles. Both the Levin and Trueno variants were offered with either a 2-door coupe or 3-door liftback body style. The Levin and Trueno were generally identical, apart from fixed, rectangular headlights on the Levin and pop-up headlights on the Trueno. Minor bodywork changes were made in 1986 which resulted in different tail lights, front and rear bumpers, corner and headlight trim lights, and grilles, are the main differences for both Levin and Trueno models, along with the coupe and hatchback styles. The models sold between 1983 and 1985 are sometimes referred to as Zenki, and the models sold from 1986 to 1987 are referred to as coupe. The coupe version is considered to be the more rigid and lighter version of the two. Model specifications: in Japan, the DOHC4AGE AE86 was offered in GT, GT Apex and GTV trims as the Corolla Levin or Sprinter Trueno. In North America, the top-spec DOHC4AGEC was sold as the Corolla GTS, with the SOHC4AC being sold as the Corolla SR5. Both versions were sold with pop-up headlights only. Euro-spec models were sold as the Corolla GT with DOHC engines and fixed Levin-style headlights. The Middle East received the same basic model as the North American market, with pop-up headlights and the regulated 5 mph bumpers. The lightest AE86 is the Japanese two-door GT model which weighs 910 kg. It has the same exterior as the GTV trim, but with the interior of the AE85 with the exception of the gauges, and is equipped with rear drum brakes. North American AE86 specifications. There are 3 types of Corolla Sport RWD for the U.S. market: DX, SR5, and GTS, though the DX was generally an internal Toyota designation, as brochures and advertising do not include the DX designation. It consisted of a lower trim level, lighter-duty suspension parts and the like. Model years of production: 1983 to 1987, versions, DX, SR5 and GTS, drag coefficient, 0.39, note that the van and the chassis code do not match for all models. DX and SR5 specifications: first 7 characters of van, JT2A85 or JT2A86, chassis code, AE86, horsepower, 87 HP at 4800 rpm, torque, 85 lb-aft at 2800 rpm, weight, approximately 2200 lb to 2400 lb, engine, 4AC, 1587 cc, engine type, SOHC8 valve inline 4 carbureted, MT transmission, T50, 6-bolt flywheel, AT transmission, A42DL, 4-speed overdrive with lock-up torque. Converter, mechanically controlled, with electronically engaged overdrive, compression, 9.01, differential, 6.38 inches open with 4.10 to 1 ratio, 2-pinion or 3.91 to 1 ratio, 4-pinion, wheels tires, 13x5 plus 33 offset rims with 185/70ths or 13 tires, GTS specifications, first 7 characters of van, JT2A88, chassis code, AE86, horsepower, 112 HP at 6600 rpm, torque, 97 lb-aft at 4800 rpm, weight, approximately 2200 lb to 2400 lb, engine, 4AGE, 1587 cc, engine type, DOHC 16 valve inline 4AFM multi-port fuel injection WT-VIS, transmission, T50, 8-bolt flywheel, injector size, approximately 180 cc, low impedance, compression, 9.41, differential, 6.7 inches open or optional LSD with 4.30 to 1 ratio, 2-pinion, wheels tires, 14x 5.5 plus 27 offset rims with 185/60ths R14. 82H tires, the AE86 in motorsports. During its production life, the AE86 was a popular choice for showroom stock, grouper, and Group N racing, especially in rallying and circuit races. Even after production of the car was discontinued, many privateer teams still raced the AE86, and it is still a popular choice for rallying and club races today. Part of the continued appeal of the AE86 for motorsports is its rear drive configuration, a feature not available in most newer lightweight coupes. In Group A World Rally cars the 4AGZE engine was popular. In Group A touring car races, the car either dominated the lower category where eligible or fought it out with Honda Civics or the later AE92s and AE101s whilst maintaining its competitiveness. In Ireland, where rallying is considered one of the most popular forms of motorsport, as organising regulations are more relaxed compared to that of other countries, the AE86 was popular when new, and is still so popular that teams will purchase cars from the UK due to local shortages. The AE86 is also popular for rally use in Finland, where the cars can be competitive in the F-Cup competition for naturally aspirated 2WD cars. The semi-factory supported craft team entered a spaceframe Trueno at the JGTC with a 3S GTE engine that came from a SW20 Mr. 2 turbo producing about 300 HP for the JGTC GT300 regulations in 1998. Despite being popular with the RACA fans, the car had minor success and was abandoned from use halfway through the 2001 season in favor of a newly delivered Mr. S. The rear-wheel drive configuration, combined with the AE86's lightweight curb weight, balance and relatively powerful 4AGEU engine made it popular among the Japanese Hashiria, many of whom raced in Touge where the corners suited the AE86 best, especially on the downhill. Among those who utilized this car was Japanese racing legend Kiichi Tsuchiya, also known as the Drift King. Kiichi Tsuchiya helped popularize the sport of drifting, which involves taking a car on a set of controlled slides through corners. The AE86's FR configuration made it well suited to this kind of cornering, and currently the car is a mainstay of drift shows and competitions. In popular culture, the main character of the anime and manga Initial D, Takumi Fujiwara, uses his father's AE86 Trueno for racing and making his TOEFL deliveries. Also in Initial D, Izuki Takuchi drives an AE85 Levin, mistaken for an AE86, and Wataru Akiyama drives a turbocharged AE86 Corolla Levin. Later on in the series, Shinji Inui drives the notchback coupe version of the AE86 Trueno. The popularity of the manga is cited as the main cause of the car's high resale price. The Sprinter Trueno is featured in the racing video games series Gran Turismo in Forza Motorsport, Tokyo Extreme Racer for the Sega Dreamcast, Grand Theft Auto 4 and Grand Theft Auto V as the Karen Futo. The Corolla Levin and a modified AE86 similar to the one depicted in Initial D appears only in Gran Turismo. The American market AE86 GTS is featured as oldest and least powerful of the lot, nonetheless equally competitive and a car of choice, in Need for Speed, Underground 2. The Toyota AE86 also appears in Need for Speed, The Run, and can be used in challenges and multiplayer events. It also appears in Need for Speed, World. The AE86 also appears in the anime and manga Wangan Midnight. In the Wangan Midnight Maximum Tune 4 video game based on the manga, an AE86 similar to Takumi Fujiwara's AE86 was in a level 51 of the story mode, driven by one of the Feeling team members. It is also one of the selectable cars in the Toyota section. Notes. References: History article on Corolla Levin, History article on Sprinter Trueno, Club 4AG technical reference on the AE86, AE86 Driving Club, technical forum dedicated to AE86 owners, AEU86 technical reference, additional technical references on the AE86, AE86 history, build grades, model differences and racing history, hatchback.com.au, blog, forum and marketplace for AE86 owners also known as HR, Toyota AWD Corolla history, Toyota AWD Corolla history, s-86.com. A Euro S86, has many AE86 relevant technical articles, hatchback.net. A Euro AE86 related articles, guides, references and walkthroughs. Toyota Corolla history, Toyota Corolla history, 1, Sport Compact Cars 1985 Toyota Corolla AE86 GTS Project, Initial D characters, cars and teams.